Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight for some Yin Yoga. If you've practiced with me before, this is going to feel a little different because we'll be holding poses for longer. So if you're used to a vinyasa, take a deep breath and get ready to slow down. This class is for anyone, and anytime there's a pose that's not appropriate for pregnancy, I'm giving you a modification just after I show the original pose. So I'll always let you know if we need to change it for pregnancy. For our practice tonight, it would be great if you could have a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, a few bed pillows will work just great. And that'll be the only prop that you need. So join me for this lovely practice. We're going to start sitting on our mats, sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position. You'll see that I have my phone with me as a timer. It's an essential piece of most any Yin Yoga class so that we can relax into the poses. We'll start with the soles of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall and circling. Circling the shoulders over the hips, letting yourself find your way towards grounded. And if you are coming into this practice early in the morning or late in the evening, just honor the state changes that need to happen. Go ahead and change directions. Right? Early in the morning, the body might be stiff. And if you're coming to this practice in the evening, you might have had a very busy day. And it's okay to feel some resistance to slowing down. After a few circles, I'm going to come forward in butterfly. Soles of the feet are together, we're creating this diamond shape in the legs. And you can have the feet just a little ways out or close in. Try not to have the heels right at the pelvis. Give yourself a little bit of room. And then start to fold forward. Fold forward and let the head hang down towards the ground. You could stay right here, and I'm going to go ahead and start. We'll be in this pose for 3 minutes. You could stay right here. Or if you want to feel more support, you can rest your head into your hands. Right now, my elbows are on my shins. You may be more flexible and take it down to the floor. Or if you have the bolster, the pillows, or blocks around, you could also stack those. Pillows from your couch would work perfectly for this. You could stack those to give yourself a little bit more height, and then let your forehead rest into your hands from there. And this is where we start to anchor our mind back down into the body. You feel the breath exhaling. And you might even feel called to take a few exhales out through the mouth. Washing off whatever day has already happened. Notice as you get about halfway through the pose here, notice if there's anywhere that starts to soften more. Maybe you move in a little deeper. Or if there's anywhere where you're noticing a little tension, can you bring your breath to that tension? If the head is hanging free and not resting on anything, shake the head yes and no. And if the head is melted into the hands, really allow the hands to hold the head, the neck to soften. Continue to tune into the exhales, letting you land deep in the body. Feeling your spine as if it's lengthening down to the earth from the tailbone up to the crown of the head. Inhale. Then start to roll the spine up, shoulders coming over the hips again, and the shoulders dropping down the back. Extend out through the legs, remembering again that you could have something underneath your hips here. You could be sitting up onto a pillow if that would make it feel easier to lengthen through the pelvis. And you can also take a cushion under the knees. If this feels like too much extension for the legs, you could use a block or a cushion from the couch. Grab your pillows now, whether those are something like 2 bed pillows or a yoga bolster. And stretch the legs out into that big wide straddle again. And I'll show you this with no props. So if you have no prop, you're going to turn towards the right leg and fold down. If you have a prop, like a bolster, you can take it across the leg, and then when you fold down, you can rest your head onto it. I have the bolster and then I stacked my arms to give me a little more height. We'll start into another 3 minutes here. For those of you who are currently pregnant, you can absolutely still turn to the side. I want you to twist less. So you might have the bolster on the side and you might just be leaning over to that side. Maybe even you're letting your head relax over or adding an arm into the mix. But I want you to keep belly forward. For those of you who are not pregnant, remember you could be turning the chest down to the side. So settle in here. On camera, I'll be in the prenatal variation to remind you, right? Maybe that's on a bolster. If you're doing this with no props, could just be resting down to the side. Hand is supporting you. Arm could be reaching over. And as we stay here, tuning in again to the exhales. And starting to count both inhale and exhale so that we're elongating the exhale, letting the exhale be longer than the inhale. Maybe the inhale is for 3 counts and the exhale is for 5. Close the eyes if you can. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just notice, was that too long for you? Anytime it strains the breath, I want you to back out, maybe take a shorter breath. So it could even be that the inhale is 1 count and the exhale is 2 counts. Just let that exhale be a beat or 2 longer than the inhale. This is how we're sedating the nervous system. Inhale, whatever pose that you've been melting into, come up, come out, and simply drop to the other side. Same pose as before, opposite side. Any props that you might need. Drop right into those 3 minutes, melting down, maybe twisting the chest towards the leg, letting the forearms rest. Maybe you're pregnant and so you're just doing a side lean, or adding in the arm. Or if you have a bolster or pillows around that you can melt the upper body into, you're taking those and you're letting everything sink in. Yin poses are not restorative, although they might feel quite good in the body. We want to look for some sensation. We want to create a sensation of a stretch, never pain. This is especially true for the prenatal body, but for all bodies in Yin. Finding a place where the stretch feels like you might be at 50 to 80% of your max. Right? Not at 100 or 110% of your max stretch, because we hold it for so long. We want to make sure that we can stay, that we can breathe in the pose as it evolves. We'll come back to that breath pattern, exhaling longer than the inhale. This both soothes the nervous system and it reminds us to stay present to the pose. If our breath starts to get ragged, we know that we might need to back out just a little bit and find a place with less intensity for the body. Find that inhale count. And then exhale for 1 beat longer. Again, if you're in a place where the eyes can close, let them drift either to fully closed or partial. Don't shy away from any intense sensations in the body. Rather, breathe into them, make sure that they are not pain. And see if you can stay with that edge. On your next inhale, reach through the top arm and rise up. Grab a hold underneath your knees and draw the legs back up. Help them, they sometimes feel heavy after those wide straddles. Take your hands behind you and gently rock side to side. Good, just massaging out the glutes, a gentle stretch for the low back. My pregnant practitioners here, you're going to stay rocking your hips for a moment. Everyone else, you're going to join me by coming onto your bellies. Stretch out onto your bellies. Pregnant mama, I'll have your modification in just a moment. So you're going to come onto the belly, lengthen out through the spine, let the tops of the feet rest onto the ground. Elbows come underneath your shoulders, and your gaze is straight out in front of you. This is Cobra. This is an extension for the spine. It's a beautiful heart opener. We're working a lot with our heart meridian in this practice. Let the heart pull through like you were trying to draw your elbows back and your heart forward. Don't worry so much in Yin about engaging through the core here. Let the belly rest onto the ground. Notice how my gaze is straight out in front of me. And this becomes the place to soften now. So you could close the eyes. You could half close the eyes, but try to avoid hanging the head or extending too far and looking up at the ceiling. Gaze is straight out in front of you. We'll start our 3 minutes here. And my pregnant folks, you're going to meet me in hands and knees. So everyone else is staying down, cobra pose, elbows on the ground. My pregnant folks are going to come to hands and knees and then down onto your forearms. Let the heart melt through. Let the baby and belly reach gently towards the ground while the tailbone reaches up. And for your necks, the gaze is down just about between your thumbs. That's going to keep you in a mostly neutral spine, neither chin tucked or overextended and trying to gaze out in front of you. So let the head come down, the gaze focus on the spot between the thumbs. And then you also may choose to close the eyes. For everyone here, whether you're in cobra with the belly down or if you're in our modified prenatal cobra, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the gentle opening of the heart. That push and pull of the spine, elongating without over-efforting. And then ask yourself to stay. Even if the sensations get intense, as long as they are not pain. And return to the breath. It's so simple in this practice. Inhale. Exhale longer than the inhale. And return to filling. And emptying. And just like in a meditation, notice. Notice when you've been distracted and your mind has drifted into what's coming next or what has already been. And then just simply return to the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Being mindful of the slow movement here, especially for those of you who've been belly down in cobra. Start to walk your hands back, and we'll all open the knees so that the knees are almost as wide as your mat, and you'll sit the hips back between the heels, forehead resting on the ground. This is a wide-kneed child's pose. If this is too much of a deep knee bend for you, you could always take one of the pillows that you had from your bed or your bolster, and you could put it between your hips and your heels, or even 2 pillows, and then stretch back down. If you have soft pillows, you could try to get this right into the knee crease to give you a little more height. And the same is true for those of you who are pregnant. That's a modification you can use if you need your hips to be a little higher. So wherever it is, whether you need a little more support between the hips and the heels, or whether you feel comfortable just melting right down. Forehead can be on the floor. If it's feeling okay for your neck, your two other choices are to turn the head to the right or to the left. Just remembering to turn to the opposite side. Now that we are down here, folded over, it should be even easier to feel the breath filling in and releasing out. Remember that there's no exact count. Turn the head to the other side if you haven't yet. Remember that there's no exact count for the breath. It's simply aiming to have a longer exhale than inhale. On the next inhale, we'll modify our wide knees child's pose. And we'll hold these poses for a shorter amount of time. So the bottom of the pose stays the same, the hips, the knees, the ankles. If you need to adjust now and add in one of those bolsters or supports, please go ahead and get one. The modification for pregnant clients. You are going to reach the hands forward again, and then you're going to walk the hands over to the right, and then let everything sink in again. This is stretching along the left side of the ribs and the hips. You're letting your breath stretch down there. For those of you who are not currently pregnant, maybe far, far from it, you're going to take a twisted wide knees child's pose. So the left hand is going to thread underneath the right, and you'll slide down onto your ear and your shoulder. The right arm could stay right here or reach overhead. If that looks really appealing to you and you're pregnant, you could also take this twisted variation. Let's get our timer going here. You could also take this twisted variation. Just be really intentional about keeping baby and belly at center. In pregnancy, we want twists to happen in the upper back, not in baby's space. So if the belly can stay down and that twist would feel good to you, it is safe to take this twist. That's also true for those of you who are postpartum parents, who are working on healing a separated diastasis. You can also be in this twist. But for anyone, and this also counts for those of you who are not pregnant, if for some reason that's not right for your ear and your shoulder, reach the hands forward and walk them over to the right. Let the forehead or the side of the face melt into the ground, depending on your pose. And for everyone, feel the breath stretching into the side body. Feel the breath stretching into the lowest ribs. And in your mind, know once again, we're stimulating the heart and the lung, gently encouraging wellness through our bodies. Tune into the breath here. Now you're so familiar with it. Inhaling, exhaling a little longer than the inhale. Continuing to follow the pattern of your own breath. And then as you're ready, walking the hands back to center and pushing up to hands and knees, or if you're in the twist, planting into the right hand, draw the left underneath. Let's all meet for a moment in tabletop. Take a few cat-cows, rounding and opening. And then returning to the pose on the opposite side. So this could be sliding the right fingers underneath the left in a twist of wide-kneed child's pose. That one works if you're keeping your belly down and if it feels safe for your neck and for your shoulder. If for any reason that's not the case for you, then you extend the arms forward and walk them over to your left, remembering to continue anchoring down through the right hip. Let the forehead melt onto the ground. Keep reaching with the right hand over. And then wherever you've chosen to be, breath moving into the lowest ribs, the side body, melting across the heart. Keeping most of the attention on the breath practice, the inhales and the elongated exhales. Let one corner of your mind move towards a loving kindness practice. So for this, I'll say a phrase out loud and you can simply repeat, whisper that message back into your own heart. We offer it to ourselves first. So using the word I, may I be filled with loving kindness. Repeating that back into yourself. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be healthy in body, heart, and mind. May I be happy and free. Next inhale, you press into the left hand and lift up through the right hand or walk the hands back to center. Lift the hips and gently draw the knees in so that they're directly underneath the hips. Take a few cat-cows. It's a big stretch for the inner thighs to stay there, so just notice the realignment through the hips. Take the hands one handprint further forward, curl the toes under, press up and back to downward facing dog. In the downward facing dog, bend and wiggle through the legs, especially if that felt intense in that compression of the knees. Feel the blood flowing all the way up, all the way down. Shake the head, yes and no. Maybe even trill the lips here. Drop back down onto the knees. Keeping the toes curled under, set the hips back. And this could be an area where it's helpful to have either a chair behind you or blocks. For some of you, you feel comfortable getting the fingertips onto the ground and then lift the hips up. We're just stretching really across this front of the quad and that front of that deep bend that we just took with all of that child's pose. Who knew child's pose could be so intense? Let the hips release back down. And then you're going to find your way onto your back as gently as you can, letting your body stay in this slower place that we're finding. So maybe it's even coming down. Those of you who are pregnant, I'm going to give you another modification for this. So if you are comfortable on your back and twisting, you could take this pose. Otherwise, stay sitting upright, and I'm coming right back to you with a modification. So for those of you who are on your back, right knee draws into the chest, left leg is extended, and you twist the right leg across the body, right arm. You can stretch out. If you have space to stretch it straight out, you can, or you could cactus the fingers up. If you want even more twist, reach this arm up by the ear overhead, right to where my bolster is. And then you'll stay. So I'm coming out so that I can show our pregnant folks where they're headed next. We'll start our 3-minute timer for those of you who are already twisting. So my pregnant folks, especially if you've had enough deep knee bends, this is where those pillows come in really handy. Grab your pillows, sit onto your pillows, and ideally near a wall. Sitting up onto the pillow near the wall, turn the torso, hand onto the wall, other hand onto the wall, and gently press into the backhand to help create a twist. So this is a fully supported twist focused onto the back and upper chest. But we're still leaving babies primarily at center. We're not twisting through the belly so much as the shoulders. If you want this to be more intense, you scooch a little closer to the wall. And again, take the hand back, hand forward. For those of you who are lying down in the twist, stay just as you are. And for both of you, continue to let the breath find the side bodies. Let the breath find the side body. Once again, we repeat back. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be healthy in body, heart, and mind. May I be happy and free. And just let all of that land. Continuing to find the long exhales. Those of you who are on your back, start to pull everything back towards center and draw the knees into the chest. Those of you who were up seated, it's a simple turn to the opposite side. Set yourself up comfortably and then turn to the wall on the opposite side. If you don't have a wall, you could also be twisting, right? And just let the hands fall down by your side. So I'm going to return to those of you on the ground. So my pregnant parents, you're staying upright there. You've got your hands on the wall. For those of you who are on the ground, now we release by curling both knees in. Extend through the right leg, pull in with the left, and gently draw the left leg across the body. Again, depending on your space, left arm could be out, could be up, could be overhead. See what position feels better to you. And in yin poses, ideally, we're finding a pose, and then we're letting all the fidgeting fall away. We're letting all the fidgeting fall away and just being still. Let's stay for this full 3 minutes. And we'll move into the second part of our loving kindness practice. And start to think about someone who you love very much, deeply, perhaps even unconditionally. A best friend, a partner, a child. Call to mind their image. Let your heart fill with your love for that being. And then we offer the same words that we offer to ourselves, but to this person. May this person I love be filled with loving kindness. May this person I love be safe from inner and outer dangers. May this person I love be healthy in body, heart, and mind. May this person I love be happy and free. Pause and simply let them wash over you. May this person be filled with loving kindness. May they be safe from inner and outer dangers. May this person I love be healthy in body, heart, and mind. May they be happy and free. My pregnant folks on the wall, let the hands fall down. Turn the torso and the heart to face over the legs. And just give yourself a little bit of a circle, maybe even a counter twist. Those of you who are on your back, draw the knees up and into the chest. The same as the folks who are sitting up. You're just going to rock a little bit side to side. Give yourself a gentle circle. And then, of course, stretching out flat for Shavasana is an option. But I would love, since we've done so much work with our hearts today, any of you who have the props to do so, go ahead and grab your pillows or your bolster. If you have a bolster, you have someplace that you could lean it, whether that is up against a wall or whether that is resting onto a block, and that's definitely my suggestion if you're pregnant, is to pop it up onto a block or a couch cushion. So whatever you've chosen for your supports here, take your hips right up against the edge of whatever it is, bolsters or cushions, and slowly use your hands to walk yourself back down. Ideally, whatever you've chosen is long enough that your head can also rest on it. If that's not the case, you might want to grab another blanket or something right now to put under there. Knees could be in constructive rest pose with the knees up towards the ceiling and then falling in towards each other. You could go back to where we began, soles of the feet together and knees open, or even legs stretched out. Arms are out by the side, maybe a hand to a foot in distance away. And you start to close the eyes. And give one more instruction for those of you who are finding your way with a bolster. Take the bolster onto the block and do the exact same thing we just did with our pillows. The hips sit right up against it, not on it. So you'll see that my hips are against the bolster, but I'm on the ground here. And then the hands walk back. Legs could be the same. They could be out and wide open, be straightened. Bending the knees with the knees falling into each other. That's a great one if this feels a little tweaky to your low back. And of course, again, remember for any of you who are not pregnant, that laying flat on the ground in the traditional Shavasana is also an option. Come into the Shavasana. And get comfy. Make any micro adjustments that would help you to feel more at ease, even if that's getting a blanket or using something like a pashmina to lay across your eyes and block out any light if it's still the day. And we'll finish our loving kindness practice. The full circle is to offer this out into the world. And the world can definitely use it. So without a lot of effort here, just listening to my words melt over you as you rest in the Shavasana. Take a big, beautiful breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be safe from inner and outer dangers. May all beings be healthy in body, heart, and mind. May all beings be happy and free. Once again, big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then allowing yourself to rest into the sounds of your space. You're in Shavasana, imagining the tongue falling away from the roof of the mouth, the cheeks gently relaxing back. Letting yourself feel heavy. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May they be safe from inner and outer dangers. May they be healthy in body, heart, and mind. May they be happy and free. Big breath in. Sigh it out the mouth. And know that if you have more time or inclination, you are welcome to stay in Shavasana just as you are in this moment. If you are ready to come up, gently turn the head from side to side. Circle the wrists and the ankles. Be mindful of the height of your bolster and gently roll to one side. You might even pause there for a breath. And then use the hands to walk yourself back up to seated. If you've done this practice in the morning, feeling a lightness in the energy body. And if you're about to go to bed, let the heaviness of Shavasana stay with you. Whatever your day has in store with you, thank you so much for taking the time to practice. with us today. You can find more of our practices, mountainmamamassage.com. I'm Faith. I'm so grateful for this time. Namaste.